Hello, everybody. Welcome again to another edition of the Riff On podcast. My name is Eric D. Who is you?
I'm Andrew James.
It's nice to see you again, my friend.
Back in his house.
Episode 8, technically, and we just realized that we haven't done this in a couple of months, so...
No, we needed to get back in.
Is it like swimming? Do you remember how, if you haven't been in the pool for a little while?
We'll find out if we'll drown or not.
Like, it's been so long, I'm even going to check some levels. I can bump us post.
Okay.
That's like geek speak.
Geek speak.
What you been up to?
Me, I've been playing shows. Did that. I just got done I was doing a residency with Troy Millette at Martell's in Jeffersonville. Sticking a little closer to home.
You seemed like you were playing a lot of gigs there for a little while, though.
I was out and about. I was hanging out with Troy a lot, doing that thing, and then still hanging out with Troy a lot. But yeah, we were. It was just me. So the Owl Stars had taken a little bit of a break.
So you take your break from your wife from the stage, but don't take a break from the wife at home, huh? FYI, Andy's significant other, his wife Liz, is the other half of the Owl Stars.
The better half of the Owl Stars.
The better looking half of the Owl Stars.
And then we play with Dan Gregoire.
You both are better looking than Dan. No offense to him and his...
I don't know if that's
his
true.
Cajone.
The Cajones. Yeah, what about you? What have you been up to?
I don't know. Traveling a bit for the day job, the side hustle, more or less. Just actually did a podcast for that the other day and realized that we hadn't done one in 5 months. And look, we just went back and we haven't done this one in 5 months, you and I. The last one was with Polly V.
I know. And we've talked about it a bunch, though.
We have talked about it a bunch.
Well, you've been traveling, man.
I've been traveling, but not as much as you've been gigging. Like, I'm going to blame the gigging on you getting in the way of our recreational podcast.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I've been gigging some. Trying to think. They called us into Stone Corral. And it's hard when the breweries call and they're like, "Hey, we need you to come in." I'm like, "Hey, I need to come in."
I've still been meaning to get down there and see some music. This is Stone Corral Brewery and Tap Room in Richmond. And for those that haven't gone, you just got to go because Richmond's a fantastic community as it is. And it's like the perfect place for a tap room because of the community that is Richmond. And a great little stage setup. Like I want to go. Like every time you guys play or Milton Busker and the Grimwork play, I'm like, I got to go. But their timing is just so funky and off because of the whole... older like me, I think, 7 o'clock, this is great. But unless you have a babysitter or plan to, slide out for the night.
It's kid friendly. We bring the girls with us when we go and play there.
Our bedtimes are a little earlier. No, weekends, not so much. We could probably get away with going for a little bit.
We do Fridays and Saturdays there. Tried to, maybe in the next year, maybe we'll try to do some Sunday afternoons.
That wouldn't be so bad. And they're doing bluegrass, like... open mic jam session too, aren't they? Down there?
Once every Wednesday night. So they do Wednesday night open mics at Stone Corral, except one Wednesday out of the month it's just like a bluegrass jam.
That reminds me of my first time at Oxbow up in Portland. It just happened to be like a bluegrass swing by type of thing. I thought it was fantastic. I think I came home and actually talked to you about it. Yeah. I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah. Richmond has just this rich history of music too. For years they did bluegrass jam and open mic at On the Rise Bakery.
And I think before then, didn't Daily Bread used to do music?
Daily Bread would do music, and some of the Fish guys lived in that area for a while. Richmond's a great spot for music. Lots of friends. I live in Underhill, so lots of friends that are current musicians now kind of grew up in that area.
Yeah, I've been meaning to go to Stone Corral. The whole 7 to 10 thing is like ideal timing wise and novelty if you can get away with it, but I just cannot sneak out down there for some weird reason. Plus the fact that it's 45 minutes to get there or whatever it is from here.
Yeah, for me it's like 20 minutes. It's ideal.
But you've been playing. I've been traveling. World gets in the way sometimes. The family is still
family.
Family's still family. Kids. I mean, girls are out. Your girls are out for the summer. My two are out for the summer. Actually, one entering kindergarten in 45 days' time, which we could not be more excited about. But it's right now. It's like plans are week to week, but it seems like the summer fills in so darn fast. It's a little.
There's a lot going on in Vermont in the summer. I mean, you have to get it all in the summer because there's a tendency to hibernate.
The winters are too darn long. I mean, it took forever for the summer to kind of fall into place, if you will. Like, we had a super great June, I thought.
Oh,
mild. Yeah. I mean, temperature was tolerable. And then we just came out of the most vicious heat wave we've had in 25 years, I think it was.
I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me.
No, I mean, it's because Liz doesn't mind when you walk around the house naked, apparently, or something like that.
I just don't believe in clothes. I don't feel like clothes. I don't like. That's not how we were born into this world.
No, there you go.
You know, when I came into this world, it was with an iPhone, an Atari, and nothing else.
An Atari and an iPhone. That's tale of two lives right there. Well, it's the nice thing about being, here in the Riff On podcast studios in my home office. We're in my basement, and it's 73 degrees, which is about the warmest it hit during the heat wave, but that's 10 degrees warmer than it was in the wintertime when it was chilly at 63, 64. But it was a nice relief to come downstairs every single day and work down here than put up with the heat. We actually did air conditioners for the first time in 3 years, I think, living here upstairs in the bedrooms.
Yeah.
Because of how vicious the second floor was.
Did you guys hit any water at all?
We hit some water. Where have we been? We've hit the pool actually out by your house twice in 5 days.
The pool out by our house?
I was going to message you both times. Yeah, I was over at
over by the
families.
The families,
in
yeah.
So we went 2 Sundays, the Sunday before July 4th, and then we were there again on July 4th. So
was our mutual friend there?
Our mutual friend was not there either time, as a matter of fact.
No?
He was working on the 4th.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good financial man. And I think the first hot day he was mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
It was.
And he's a good family man.
Yeah, he's a good family man. The pool water was great. It actually went up seemingly about 8 to 10 degrees in about 3 days' time.
Well, and so this is the fun thing about pools. When something like this happens, you go to get in the pool, and the pool's 86 degrees. Like, all my friends that have pools are like, I went to cool off in the pool, but there was no cooling off in the pool. Yeah.
This was like the second day. It was like, whew, holy cow. And the thermometer was broken, so we couldn't tell what temperature it was. But got in the pool. More importantly, got the kids in the pool right now with them kind of learning to swim and whatnot. And they did get brought to the beach within the last week. They went up to Thayer with Mom, and that's about it. I haven't been... Oh, I did go to the sandbar, actually. We had a birthday party.
You texted me on Sunday, and you were at water.
Sunday. I was at my parents' camp recently.
No, you were in... Where were you?
Where the heck was I on Sunday, too?
Didn't you hit a water hole up?
I was at the lakes, the Falls of Lana in Salisbury with the kids.
Yeah.
And,
was that not a swimming hole?
It's not. There are swimming holes if you kind of move around enough. But I had the kids with me, and I was unfamiliar with the territory, so we just kind of went to just get them out of the house and go for a hike, and it was nice. I mean,
you were able to keep them out of the water?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I kind of stayed close on having them around the rocks and things like that. Not that we were in any pools or anything that kind of swept them away, but I just kind of kept them on a short leash. So I've been around the water a little bit, but still not on the lake physically.
Oh, no, I haven't been. I almost never go to the lake now.
Either. And I've been around it I've been living around here for 7 years, a mile from Mallett's Bay, and I'm still never been on the water, technically.
I mean, when I was working in Burlington, I would go out to Oakledge for lunch, grab a New World tortilla. Yeah, man.
Grab a floaty
and then just go hang out. And this is I'd probably do it 2 times, 3 times a week.
I would if I lived closer. I was just talking to someone that used to live down by Oakledge, and I was like, man, how often do you go there? And they're like, oh, great, we bike there all the time, go there all the time, and it ends up becoming, I don't know if it's a novelty when you live close, accidental novelty, but you never make it out to, the locations that you're closest to sometimes. I suppose if you live next to a ski mountain, you'd probably make it, because you'd be living there a little bit more intentionally. You'd make it there more often.
We are up at Smugs.
You guys are up there a lot.
Yes.
Of course, you live close, and Liz works there. And,
Liz works there, so yeah, we get the bonus.
I'm already not looking forward to the winter. I'm trying not to complain about this heat wave and everything because it took so long for it to drop into place. And I was actually just looking at the forecast earlier today, and still 80s, a little bit of 90s, and when summer's in full swing, Vermont Brewfest is coming up.
I don't do the Vermont Brewfest.
Is it too good for the Brewfest?
I'm not good enough for the Brewfest. People give me beer and I drink it.
Well, yeah. So you don't need to pay $40 to go do that? Is that what you mean?
No, I just at the Brewfest, I end up drinking. I try all the beers, and it ends up in an interesting spot.
I see.
Elizabeth told me I'm not allowed to come home after Brewfest anymore.
That's not a bad deal. You can just take that one night off.
Rightfully so.
I think the last couple of years I go do the early morning or the earlier session and then continue drinking just all day long because you can't drink all day if you don't start at noon. So drink at noon for the day session, go till 4 or 5, whenever that is, and then just go out afterwards and just keep going and pace yourself well. And
yeah, I don't have a good pace. I'm a sprinter.
Yeah, that's true. I've had that problem recently, but at the Brewfest, I pace myself really well. I don't know why that is. Sometimes it's a matter of I only have this finite amount of tickets. Here in Vermont, you're only allowed 5-ounce pours at one time. I believe your admission gets you 10 tickets, and you're allowed to buy 5 more, if I remember the rules correctly. And this is not rules that the Brewfest makes, but the Vermont Department of Liquor Control makes these rules.
Those are good rules.
So I see nothing wrong with it. And I hear stories about, the BA festivals and the GABF and things like that, where it's basically, the Wild West free-for-all. And I try to think about what those are like, or these America on Tap fests that are turned into drunk fests.
That's how I
Oh, you act like that anyhow.
No. Well, I mean, some people would say yes. No, I think that's what happens is I like to play this game. It's like, how many beers can I have and still have tickets in my pocket at the end of the night?
Technically, you're not supposed to be playing that game.
No, technically you're not, but that's the game I've played, and so, it's just not...
Time. I've been going, this is like the 26th year, and I've probably been to, I would guess, more than half of them. I mean, I remember the days when there used to be music way back when Greg Noonan from Vermont Pub and Brewery was alive, and, it was a much different scene, and obviously it's seen a big influx in popularity over the years, of course, peaked with the 11-minute sellout of all 3 sessions at the time, and then they added a 4th session, which was Friday at noon. And they've yet to be able to sell those out. So they made that a Vermonters special, if you will. I think you save $10 if you go to that one. Saturday is finally sold out, but it basically took about 6 weeks, I think, for the first session to sell out, which was really surprising. Seeing the 11 minutes was only 4 years ago.
It's really interesting that, since... Think of how many Brewfests have opened up within a 100-mile radius. Yeah. In the last 4 years even. And
even the taproom environment, which is just so much more casual and friendly and easy to get to.
And accommodating, yeah. Easy to get to, accommodating. The hours have expanded. Craft beer in Vermont's really, it's really expanded into one of the largest industries that we have here.
Right. And it's just so much easier to just hop to your local tap room on any given Saturday, Sunday, and just stop in for a couple of beers. And, why do you need to go into this? Not that it's expensive. It's the Vermont Brewers Fest has always been super affordable, in my opinion, for the surroundings. I mean, I've told people that you go just for the view. I mean, downtown on the waterfront, when the weather's right, you watch the second session and do the sunset. And it's just spectacular.
Now there still was music when I was going to the Brewfest, and I think
a long time ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
It did return last year. No, they stopped for quite a few years.
No, I know they did, but I think the last time I went was 2011, which I know is probably a long time ago at this point. I still don't 7 years ago.
Music then.
It was Starline Rhythm Boys the night I went. They were fantastic.
I was not living in town around then. I was in Pennsylvania for a few years, and that's probably about when I missed the music. And it used to be in the main field
Yep.
which was great. I remember when Currently Nameless played there. I don't know how many years ago that was, but Currently Nameless played in the field. And of course, the scene has skyrocketed over the last 6-7 years. And I tell people that, well, and this is a Vermonter, a spoiled Vermonter speaking, I just basically avoid the big 3 breweries and the lines that go along with them, and then just go hit the other 46 breweries that are there that you never wait more than a couple of minutes for.
Well, yes. One of the things I was thinking about when you're saying how this year didn't sell out, I think this year you can get more beer, more good beer from further out in the state and outside of the state than you could even a year ago. So how readily available now is Prospect?
Oh, yeah.
Bent Hill, Blood Orange Imperial.
Right.
Upper Pass.
Oh, pretty much. I can't say
and then
everybody.
you can get at your local shop if you're in St. Albans or Jericho, or if you're in Colchester. Now you can get Second Fiddle easily. Now you can get Sip of Sunshine pretty easily. Mm-hmm. Like, these are all beers that you would go to the Brewfest excited to get, and now you can drive out. It's not every week that you're gonna be able to get them, but it's like you get Prospect in cans now, and it's like
they're not shelf turds, but they're sitting on shelves, which is nice. They're sitting in coolers. Oh, it's beautiful. I just had Fair Maiden for the first time in a can. This is Foley Brothers, by the way.
Yeah, in Brandon, right?
Yeah.
Brandon, Vermont.
And I hadn't had Fair Maiden in ages, and I had it in a can for the first time, and it was good. I was like, holy cow. And I've had Prospect and Pieces of 8, but I haven't had, now they've got seemingly 6 different beers in cans at any given time right now. And that's
I want to say it's more than that, because they put the Centennial in cans. They're putting the Longbeard in cans.
Yep. They've got an experimental series even in cans. I saw one the other day. It was Simcoe Pale or Simcoe IPA. And I'm not a big Simcoe hop fan, so I passed it. But, this is you find a good bottle shop.
Yeah.
The Beverage Warehouse.
It's not even that.
Jollies. It's just crazy.
I was at Miners in Fairfax on Sunday.
Good stop.
Yeah. No, I know it's a good stop, but I was at Miners in Fairfax on Sunday. They had Second Fiddle. They had Sip of Sunshine. They didn't have the Foley Brothers stuff. They had the Frost stuff. And you know what I ended up going with? Foundation Epiphany.
Jeez, seeing Foundation on tap is like crazy.
I know. Are you seriously doing this right now?
I'm just going to do
this is good radio right here.
A quick picture for the
taking a selfie.
The Cash or Trade guys. No, my mug was not in the picture.
A beery.
Speaking of Fiddlehead, Cash or Trade double IPA from the Cash or Trade guys.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Cash or Trade?
No.
Their motto is embrace the face.
So what is Cash or Trade?
Cash or Trade is a website that was founded by a couple of brothers here in Burlington that were fish fans, and it was all about making sure that tickets are shared by non-scalpers. Namely, face value is the whole idea. Is that most of the time on their website, it's the sellers are eating the fees. And it's literally face value tickets. And it started with primarily fish, or really just fish, and it's branched into all sorts of different bands. But
so like a SeatGeek that focuses on music?
Yes, on really jam-oriented music. And it's not even, SeatGeek or StubHub, because the whole idea is face value or below, or trading. And so... it's a great website. I've done at least one transaction over the years. But Fiddlehead, of course, are huge music junkies. Their liners on the bottom of the cans with the dates are usually a Fish reference or a Grateful Dead reference. And they did this special double IPA for Cash Trade that apparently went successful enough where they're talking about it again. And actually, I'll read the side of the can real quick since we're talking about beer and a little bit of everything. Embrace the face. When we're not making beer, you can find us taking in the best live music we can find, as long as we're able to get into the show. With concert ticket prices constantly rising and scalpers selling tickets at outrageously inflated prices, being a hardworking, honest music lover can be tough these days. Our music-loving friends and fellow Vermonters over at Cash or Trade are working hard to change that. CashOrTrade.org is the world's first social network where fans buy, sell, and trade tickets for face value and avoid scalping. Their platform has become the foundation of a worldwide movement that supports real fans while providing a safe and trusted place to score tickets, make friends, and gain positive reviews in the process. We thank them for being the change this industry so badly needs. Support live music and always #embrace the face. So, yeah,
nice.
I think everyone, especially live music fans, but this type of site.
Was there more in
that
there?
Well, there's a little bit more in here.
Throw it in there.
Like Brewfest, I wouldn't be surprised if Brewfest tickets are a little tougher to move around nowadays. They've kind of implemented some new policies a couple of years ago, but it's a type of site where you're seeing a little bit of everything nowadays. But it started with fish really at the start, and in reselling of fish tickets. So so they dropped this. I was out of town. Where was I? New York City. I was just in New York City for a presentation, and they released this year's Mastermind at Fiddlehead, and then this on like the same day. And luckily, they still had them about a week later, and I popped over to the brewery in Shelburne and
it was nice.
And picked it up. I like it.
Interesting flavor profile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it a lot. Really, it kind of sneaks up onto you.
You like it a lot.
I like it a lot. It's 8%. Which this is the tough thing about our beers nowadays here is you drink an 8% and you think it's 5.8. You have no idea. You drink an 8.2 and 8.4 and it's how is this not 6%?
Yeah, I was listening to a VPR show, or maybe it was an NPR show, where they were talking about beer, and it must have been an NPR show because I think that they had the folks on from Three Floyds. And the dude was talking about how the beers are starting to get higher in alcohol because they're putting the amount of hops they have to put in to get the flavor profile that they're looking for. They have to raise the sugars up so it kind of levels out the bitterness. And I think that's what you see with the New England IPA, because if you start drinking some of the beers that are under 7% that are New England IPAs, it ends up being a little thin and bitter. It doesn't quite have the juicy punch that you're looking for.
Right. Speaking of juicy punch and beers.
Yes.
New England IPAs, Vermont IPAs. I mean, is this not like? Are you not getting?
You might go there.
Are you not getting sick of this? Like, it's a little crazy right now with the popularity, and everyone's known the Vermont. No, I shouldn't say Vermont. That the IPA scene has been the cash cow for breweries for years now. They sell. So, I suppose in essence, it only makes sense that. A region that has well-respected and insanely popular beers is going to drive the industry. And that's really, what's happened is that, on any given day, you're seeing the latest brewery dropping their quote unquote, New England IPA, even though they're located in New Orleans or
their Vermont IPA,
their Vermont Pale, and they're located in California or whatever it is. So, you sick of it yet? Or
you remember the good old days when it was just a logo or a name that was too close to another brewery's name that...
Oh, well, it's still...
No, I know. Well, breweries are popping up like crazy now. I mean, so many new breweries. No, Vermont's a good brand. Vermont's got a great brand right now. It's nice being a Vermont band,
That it is.
Anytime you can put Vermont in front of your product, I feel like you have yourself a little advantage because it is like it's almost considered boutique. Like top shelf boutique, and there's not much of it. So I understand why people would put that there. Like, so back in the 60s and 70s, it would have been Vermont maple syrup, which was getting all the buzz, and
still does,
because they had it used to be Vermont made syrup, right?
Right.
But they had to change that name. Do you remember that?
I do.
Like that, and that would have been obviously the 80s, because you and I weren't alive in enough to remember the 70s all that well.
Right. Oh, it was definitely recently. I mean, I feel like, and I know that our friend Jeff Baker from Feral Distributing at
It's
Philosophy of...
It's the beer talking?
Or It's the Beer Talking, which has gone into hiatus, but from It's the Beer Talking and also at Education and Ales has really been defending fervently the use of Vermont Pale or Vermont IPA from out-of-state brewers, and is looking for basically, Bernie and Peter Welch and Senator Leahy and the Attorney General to kind of step forward and do something about this. And I'm sure he's familiar, too, with the old defending that we used to do on any out-of-towners using Vermont in its name. And the state of Vermont was right there doing it. But the big differentiation, from my understanding, and someone pointed it out, was it's all a matter of if it's for sale within the state of Vermont. So we can look at it as A, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and B, it's good for the branding, and basically if they're smart, C, they will not step foot in Vermont selling this product, because that's when you get your hand slapped. So
I just think I tend to think about things a little bit more open. Like, if you can make a good enough IPA and slap Vermont on it, I don't feel like it hurts the brand at all. If you're making stuff that's garbage and, you're slapping the brand on it just to sell something, that's where I think that's where the issue is. For me, anyway.
Wow, sorry, I just got a message from someone in the beer scene that just kind of distracted me there a little bit. Speaking of which, I'll let you read it while I talk about it real quick, just because since we were just talking about the gentleman.
All right.
So it's the Vermont beer style, Vermont IPA style, Northeast IPA style. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. It continues to be basically the cash cow that's, having these brewers capable of expanding, which is exciting, especially having the chance to know some of them. We get to know some of them over the last handful of years. It's fantastic. And I'm excited for it. It's just, it gets tiresome, so to speak, if you're active in social, kind of like I am and you are, where you just see it kind of everywhere, and you sense that there's certainly bandwagon jumping going on by some of these brewers, especially some of those brewers that are like, we're never going to brew the hoppy, double dry hop, hop forward beers, and fast forward a year, and that's like their go-to. And
it's really hard. So I, obviously playing in the music scene, play at a lot of breweries. I'm friends with some brewers, and it's just hard because not all of these guys want to brew the type of beers that are necessarily popular. But it's like anything. Like, do I want to play Wagon Wheel at every show? No. But if the right person asks and I'm in the right mood, I'll play it, especially if I know that there's a crowd of like 60 people who are going to sing along. It's like, all right, well, I understand, like, Wagon Wheel's probably not necessarily the right choice. Like, there is an abhorrent disdain for this song amongst venues and musicians. It's one of those it's just one of those deals. And I think Old Crow Medicine Show is awesome. And I think that if you can get out to see those guys, you should absolutely do it. They're fantastic. They're wonderful people. They're not just Wagon Wheel.
One of their last releases is all Bob Dylan. Have you heard that yet?
No.
I think it's all Bob Dylan. Pretty sure. Rainy Day Woman number 12 and 35 is on my Spotify Discover playlist this week. So I want to say I've listened to that before. Joan Osborne's got one of her latest. Or her latest is all Bob Dylan songs.
Oh, really?
Too. So true story. I don't like Bob Dylan, actually.
What did Bob Dylan do to you that you don't like him?
He didn't do anything to him. I can't understand a word he's saying. I mean, at least the modern day stuff. He's got a couple of good songs way back when, but
you're like my dad talking about rap. I just don't understand what those people are saying.
This is true. Maybe I've given Bob a chance. I just can't do it. And Great songwriter, sure. Someone was just saying that recently. Who the heck were we talking about? Great songwriter. Oh, I was saying how I don't like him. He's a great, and someone's like, oh, he's a great songwriter, modern day, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like him either. I can't remember. It was someone on Twitter. But, yeah, anyways, sorry. Distracted, rabbit hole. I don't even know where we were going.
I don't know where we're going either.
This is only going to get worse after another beer or so, or necessarily. But we're trying to learn how to swim again, like ride the bike again. Like it's been, we haven't had a chance to see each other really. Real quick, stop by your house one day. And
yeah.
On the way back from.
And then I didn't even see you when Bethany was in town.
No,
because I had gigs.
You had gigs. That was a fun night. That night got a little out of control.
I behaved myself that night. I don't remember. I ended up there. I ended up at Mule Bar, hanging out with them for about 45 minutes.
On Friday, right? And I made it out Saturday.
I didn't make it out Saturday.
Good time. That was a real good time. I busted out my oldest beer in my cellar that night for a treat.
What was that?
Cascade 2011 Bourbonic Plague.
Yeah.
And it was good. Oh my God. And it's strong. So for the longest time, I thought it was a sour because it was Cascade. And I never looked at it for what it was worth. And that was the name. Bourbon is in Bourbonic. So it was just a big BBA. And it was fantastic. Really complex. I don't think I ever checked it in, but the most emaciated cork I'd ever seen. Luckily,
you still check things in?
Every once in a great while.
Do you rate the beers?
I still rate. I've always rated.
I don't rate the beers anymore after you and Bethany berated me.
You were Mr. 5-star.
I wasn't. Oh, okay. All right.
So to this day, I've only given 3 or 4 beers 5 stars.
Okay.
I may be generous more often than not, but I serve it for what it's worth, and it's my personal rating system, and I want to know if I've drinking it before and what I thought of it. And I still use it when I buy all the time, based on other people's reviews, namely friends.
If I think something is good enough that I want to buy it again and I want to go back to it, I comment on it. I don't leave a rating anymore.
Okay, but you'll at least put a comment in.
I put a comment on it, it's something like, wow, or, this isn't what I expected.
That makes sense, at least.
This isn't what I expected under 3 stars for me.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I've always felt that if it seems to me that if you weren't rating it, what's the point other than it a status symbol? So
no, I mean, if I can check them in, I check the beers in and just so I know I've had it. And usually I can go back and based on what the date is that I had checked it in, I can tell if it's something that I was excited about or something.
Right.
I mean, everything's a 3.5, right, to some people?
Sure. I mean, it's funny because I can look back over my ratings and everything's a 4 and up, but at the same time, I only drink beers I like. Or at least that's my intent, of course. So, I do my research before I buy, go back and repeat the same ones that I love. For anyone that wants to know what that presently is, of course, Upper Pass First Drop. Have you had Idle Time Zog's Pale Ale yet?
I had that at the brewery. So that's one of the breweries that we play at.
The cans.
I haven't had the cans.
Phenomenal. It's just as good as Upper Pass First Drop, in my opinion.
I remember...
those are the 2 best APAs in the state.
I remember how excited you were about Crops.
Cans?
Idle Time. When it first came out.
Yeah. In cans? Oh, in the bottle. The bottles were phenomenal. They were really great. And I got a can over here right now, and now it seems malty. I don't know if they've changed the base.
I feel like it's the same brewer.
It's certainly the same brewer. It's still
from Crop to
Will Gilson. Yeah.
I actually, the last time we played there, I got the backstory on that. On how it switched from Crop to Idle Time.
I knew the owners kind of got out of it and changed names, but I was psyched when they canned, and I just learned it's a second canning company that's working with them too. Them and Farnham and some other breweries here in the Northeast. So there's another one running around competing with Ironheart. But the Zog's Pale Ale, make sure it's fresh-ish. Although it's like I just got a first drop that was 3 weeks old, and it was phenomenal. Just tasting so
right now it's hard for me to say anything, but where if I'm getting excited, it's Foley Brothers, it's Upper Pass, and it's Bent Hill.
Yeah, I haven't bought it. I literally have not bought a Bent Hill can yet.
Well, I luck out because the guy who established the beer buying at the Jollies in Jericho, Mike Trackham,
right, who's now gone. That's a bummer. Yeah, I haven't talked
the stock that they have there is like I have access to almost anything that I want.
Right.
The only thing that they don't have in there actually is probably Heady Topper. And I'm not, and for me, my palate's changed,
right.
so I don't I enjoy a Heady Topper.
Mm-hmm.
If you give me one, I won't turn it down as long as I haven't had a few other beers before that.
I still prefer Focal Banger now over the choice.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of beers that are now just creeping around, it's not that it's easy to find Heady, but Heady's sitting out there a little bit more prevalent nowadays, and Focal's starting to get back into stores and stuff. I go to 802 BWS, which Jason runs a great shop.
Yeah.
They always have a ton of Bent Hill on cans, and I'll just look through it real quick. And not that I don't want to pull the trigger, but it's, first drop sitting there and all this Foley and frost. And I mean, it's crazy. Zero gravity. I mean,
well,
hard to keep track.
Jericho and Jollies had 4 quarters beer.
4 quarters getting out there because of Vermont Beer Shepherd.
Yep.
So they get around quite a bit. Price point a little bit higher than I would like to pay in the store.
Well, you'll see the price point come down as the volume goes up.
Yeah. But they're getting around a little bit now. I mean, I think Beer Shepherd even teamed with Lawson's to cover parts of the state that Lawson's wasn't shipping to direct, which I thought was funny, knowing a little bit about the Vermont beer distribution laws, that you can have your own distribution company and yet still partner with somebody to cover territories you don't deliver to direct. But Lawson's is sitting around nowadays. I actually just had a sip of sunshine last night for the first time in quite a little while. And
it's got to have something to do with, I mean, those beer laws are all about the distributor. So,
and they've changed.
So if the distributor is willing to give a partial contract, I have to imagine that the powers that be won't necessarily balk at that.
Right. I mean, what I've been trying to do is keep a track of who's canning, and by last count, I'm up to about 40 brewers in the state of Vermont that offer cans.
Oh yeah, yep.
And I remember when it was Alchemist, and that was it, of course. And then 14 Star seemed to slide in there real early too. But you just look at it now, and it's just. You shake your head. Have you seen the prototypes for, speaking of Lawson's, for Double Sunshine cans and Maple Faced cans?
No.
The designs are out. Yeah.
Really?
Because this fall, the new brewery is opening in Warren. And Waitsfield.
Double Sunshine is still my...
Double Sunshine cans.
It's still my number one. It can't be knocked off because I haven't had it in 6 years.
Yeah, well, the last time I had it, it was not that great.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm apprehensive. Well, I'll still go buy a can, but the last one I had was not great. But it's just funny to see these prototypes where it's just like, oh my goodness. It's like, I can't imagine the day to see Maple Facedens, sitting on a shelf in a can after the foil, which was the only way to get anything Sip of Sunshine or non-Super Session.
Right.
For Lawson's forever. But so I guess technically they're already in cans. But yeah, I'm on a running count of about 40 breweries in cans.
So here's an interesting question. All of the, we have an abundance of beer in Vermont, just good beer that if other places had 3 beers as good as we had, the 10 or 12 breweries that get excited about when you see their stuff on shelves, it's still hard to get Hill.
And speaking of cans,
it's still, I know that they're canning.
He's got 3 different cans available tomorrow.
Where?
In East Greensboro. What? So there you go.
So there's still
talk about controlling your. It is still the ultimate control. For a gentleman that said he would never can his IPAs, he still keeps great control over them. I guess the one good thing is that they'll always be cold. once whatever happens to him once they leave the tap room is a different story, of course, but he can ultimately control the freshness. He can pour out anything that's however old, but tomorrow is leftover Mary. It's only a week old. Mary, Society and Solitude number 8, and
Society and Solitude number 5 is still my favorite.
I think number 9 is my favorite, but I've only had one can of his, maybe 2.
I've never had Hill cans. I want to say I've had foam cans. I've had 4-quarter cans. I've had, what I haven't had yet is Green Empire. Is that the name of the brewery?
It's fantastic, and I just sent out my last one. Side Business is the real deal. It is really good, and they've got 2 other.
Who'd you give the Side Business to?
I mailed it out west to a friend.
Come on, that's funny.
But I drank the other 3.
Come on, that's funny.
It's really good.
You don't get that? Who'd you give the Side Business to? I'm giving the Side Business.
I had heard really good things about it, and I finally found some and found it fresh, and yeah, it's really good.
I haven't had any of their beer yet.
Yeah, you know what I just had in cans was River Roost in White River Junction.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
I don't even know if I've heard of them.
Yes, I've shared some with you, haven't I?
I don't know.
Former head brewer at Magic Hat. Speaking of Magic Hat.
Did we speak of Magic Hat? Not
yes,
on the podcast.
Yes,
earlier. We did?
Oh, no, you're right. Okay, you're right. It was before we pressed record, so okay. Former head brewer of Magic Hat, Mark Babson, but he's now a year and a half in, undergoing a massive expansion, and he just released his second batch of cans of Glimpse in Moss Verde, and they're must drinks.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
You got to go to his tap room that's the only place that the cans are available. Periodically.
I've had Good Measure in cans.
I have not had Good Measure in cans.
No, I had the cream ale.
But I'm a big supporter of Good Measure in Northfield.
Those guys are beautiful.
I want to do the fizzy, which is their shandy in cans with a local lemonade, and I've heard good things. But
fruit and beer,
yeah,
I don't know.
I tell you, I've got 4 or 5 Good Measure bottles in my cellar, including 3 of their cuvées, and I've been meaning to bust into one with somebody. And I've yet to have one.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
As long as you're not leaving anytime soon, we can maybe get into it. It's only 9:20. I tell you, the beer was so good when I had it. But yeah, if you haven't been to Good Measure in Northfield, Scott Kerner, co-owner of Three Penny Tap Room in Montpelier, and Andrew Lakehammer formerly of Mule Bar and Farmhouse way back when. Andrew's the head brewer, founded Good Measure, and they're just killing it in Northfield.
Yeah, those beers are so good.
I mean, it's a couple of flagships, the cream ale, early riser, and then just a bunch of one-offs. Even the one-offs.
They did a key lime IPA that was unbelievable.
He reminds me a little bit of, he's got a touch like Gene from Tired Hands, and also, trying to remember who else I was just thinking of, but reminds me of Bissell Brothers Di Valletta, like a 3.2% beer that's hoppier tasting than most people's, 6.5, 7s. Just Andrew's got an amazing touch, incredibly gifted brewer, not afraid to do different things.
I don't find that it's the hops that are hard to do in those types of beers. I find it's the body that I have such a hard time with. So you can do the all days, and you can do some of these session beers, and the hop profile can be there.
Right.
But if the body's not there, it's pretty interesting what some of the sours. So some of the Hermit Thrush beers that are low ABV, their Green Street IPA, pretty low ABV, right, but still has a nice body to it.
I've got one of the last Super Funks. Haven't bought many Hermit Thrushes lately, but always incredible. I mean, Avery and Christopher just brew some amazing beers, and
those guys get it done.
Matter of, it's not that you can't find them. The price point's always a little bit more than I want to pay, but their Gin Barrel Saison, I mean, just incredible beers. There's no end. I mean, it's right now, it's every time I turn around, a new brewery is canning. The last one that I saw was Mill River in St. Albans, and Hired Hands in Vergennes. have both added cans, and that's in the last 2 weeks. River Roost has only been a month, so we just gained 3 new brewers with cans.
You know what's crazy is I was driving home from St. Albans last week, and I took Route 7, actually, because I was going to Milton. But there's a distillery on Route 7 in Georgia. Hell's Road.
Yes, I've heard that name.
I was like, what? I was driving. I'm like, man, I can't believe that Milton or Georgia doesn't have a brewery. It's right on 89. It'd be so easy to be like on the way.
Good communities.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then it was the weirdest thing because I was thinking this as I'm driving on Route 7. And there on the side of the road is this distillery. And I'm like, oh.
Right.
Okay, that's interesting.
Right. So, well, we're talking about beer. We presently don't have one in our glass. So what are we going to do? Are we going to keep talking? Are we going to open up one of these? Are we going to get into one of those cuvées? I'll have to go get a couple of fresh bottles, glasses. What do you want to do? Take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break because I got other places I want to go.
Okay. So are we wrapping up this episode? Or are we just going to take a break and come back?
No, let's wrap this episode up.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh, well.
You don't want to wrap it up?
No, that's fine.
You want me to drop the beat?
No,
not that.
I don't.
You don't like that?
No.
You want freestyle?
No.
You freestyle? Freestyle? I'll drop the beat.
No, if you had your guitar,
drop the beat.
You could. No.
You freestyle? In West Philadelphia, born and raised. I should have gone in West Milton.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's no West Philadelphia in that body. That's West Milton.
No, but there is a bunch of beer in this body.
That's why it's time to wrap this one up. Time to.
Oh, you know what? For the next episode,
just chill.
I know. I want to get into the last time we hung out, which was awesome. It was amazing.
Right.
We were in Shelburne, and we were drinking good beer.
My goodness.
And we were on a green, and the night was amazing. And I may have geeked out a little bit and asked the lead singer from Guster to take a selfie with me. I totally geeked out.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we can talk about that next. So, all right, well, we're going to post this one soon because it's going to be up real soon, and then we'll post the second.
Is it going to be up soon, real soon? Soon.
Could be tonight. Depends what time I kick your ass out.
Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? Depends.
We'll see. So great. Hey, this is fun. It is like swimming, riding a bike.
It's after a while. It's like riding the bike in the lake.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that means. So, okay. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in. It's been 45 minutes of bliss here. Hopefully it has been on your end, too.
Well, I've enjoyed it.
Okay. You enjoy yourself?
I always enjoy myself.
Excellent. So, all right. For Andrew James, my name is Eric D. Thank you for sticking around for this latest episode of Riff On, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.